During a family dinner, my mother slapped me in anger because I refused to give up my inheritance. She humiliated me in front of everyone, saying I was weak, but when the lawyer explained the truth about the inheritance, her anger turned into fear. My mother's voice was ringing in my ears. "What have you done?" Her tone was harsh, her eyes full of anger. "Did you even think about the consequences of this decision? Your stubbornness is going to destroy us." She was standing right in front of me, her gaze fixed on me like I was guilty of something. She was speaking so quickly, and her words were having an odd effect on my mind. I could feel my thoughts clouding. Why? Why was all this happening? Up until that day, everything had been normal. It was just a family dinner, with everyone present. My mom, dad, my sisters, and their husbands. We were all gathered around the table, joking, laughing, and enjoying the meal. But then, something shifted. Something I never could have imagined. "Are you doing this just to get back at us?" My mother's voice was so loud it echoed through the room. A chill ran down my spine. "Your stubbornness is going to ruin everything. You have to change your decision." I felt a strange emptiness in my chest. Why? Because I refused the inheritance? What was so wrong with that? But in that moment, I made up my mind to stand firm. I couldn't back down in front of them. Their words fueled something inside me, and I found a confidence I didn't even know I had. "No, Mom. I won't give it up. It's my right, and I'm not ready to let go of it." My words hung in the air, and the room fell silent. Everyone was staring at me. My dad, who usually never said much, was silent as usual. My sisters, who usually sided with Mom, looked at me with questioning eyes. And then, my mother stepped forward in anger and slapped me hard across the face. In an instant, everything changed. Tears welled up in my eyes, but I didn't say a word. Her anger, and my helplessness, tore through me in a single moment. "You're so weak." My mom wasn't just angry anymore. There was something else in her voice: fear, frustration, and despair. "You need our help, but you just don't get it." I couldn't look at her anymore. I was shaking, and I could barely breathe. Inside, I kept asking myself, was I really being seen as weak? The whole situation was spinning in my head. What I thought would be a simple family dinner turned into something much more complex. My own mother, the person who was supposed to have my back, had slapped me and called me weak. I knew I hadn't done anything wrong, yet her words and actions were shaking me to my core. Days went by, but that moment stuck with me. It felt like I was trapped in a loop of confusion and hurt. Why had she reacted that way? Did she really think I was weak for standing up for myself? Eventually, I decided I needed to seek legal advice. I couldn't stay in this fog of uncertainty any longer. I reached out to a lawyer, hoping to get some clarity about my legal rights regarding the inheritance. "The matter of the inheritance is complex, but your rights are very clear," the lawyer began. His voice carried a sense of certainty that I hadn't felt in days. "What you've done is entirely correct." He paused before continuing. "Your mother's anger comes from her inability to understand that your decision is legitimate. It's not about weakness, it's about standing firm in your choices." His words were a revelation. He made it clear that under the law, I had every right to refuse the inheritance. There was no legal obligation to accept it, and by refusing, I wasn't doing anything wrong. His explanation gave me the strength to face what was happening, to understand that my mother's reaction wasn't about me, it was about her not being able to accept the truth. The lawyer's clarity turned my confusion into strength. My mother's anger, which had once felt like an attack on my character, now seemed like nothing more than her own fear of facing the reality that I had made the right decision. Her anger had morphed into something else: fear. When I spoke to my mother after that, she was a different person. She had become quiet, almost subdued. She would look at me with silent questions in her eyes, but she never said anything. It was as though my decision had thrown her into a state of paralysis. She no longer scolded me, no longer called me weak. There was a silent acknowledgement in the air, an unspoken truth hanging between us. And now, when I look back at that moment, I realize that refusing the inheritance wasn't just about money or property. It was about reclaiming my autonomy, my right to choose for myself. I had taken control of my life, my decisions, and my future. And that strength was something my mother, in all her anger and fear, couldn't take away from me. What happened that day wasn't just a confrontation. It was a turning point in my life. I had learned that standing up for myself wasn't a sign of weakness, it was a sign of strength. It was a strength I never knew I had, and I was proud of it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content and found it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with more exciting stories and insights. Your support means a lot and helps us create even more valuable content. We truly appreciate you being part of this journey.